Because as we grow and evolve, we actually inspire all of the other souls who are here with us to evolve as well. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Kaylin Bowman, Be Fiercely Authentic, Live Your Truth. So today I want to discuss why is it that when we make the conscious choice to heal something in our lives, that exact thing often gets thrown in our face. So we have to remember that we are spiritual beings living on this physical planet. And when we incarnated here on Earth, we came here specifically with lessons to learn. So our higher self is always guiding us towards our next life assignment. And, whether we're ready for it or not, oftentimes we will be thrown into certain situations that make us uncomfortable because it's indirectly, pushing us to grow as individuals. We didn't come here to be stagnant and to stay the same. So what happens though, when we are called to change something, when we are called to evolve, is that's usually when things in our life start to fall apart, or things that we so desperately want to hold on to often drop away. And why this is happening is because it's Spirit's way of getting rid of the things that are limiting us or distracting us from our lessons. So in life, we can follow the path of the ego or we can follow the path of the soul. But our soul is much stronger than the ego. So eventually, if we're on the path of the ego, we'll probably end up in a dark night of the soul because that is the soul's way of saying enough is enough. You came here for a greater reason and you're being called now to come over to your soul path, right? And so it's sort of that in between where we experience the dark night of the soul. And some people will get through it very quickly. Some people, if you resist it, will go through it for a while. It just depends. I experienced my dark night of the soul for about a year off and on. But what I learned through that experience is that the best way to get through it is to just go through it. Right? And, when it comes to healing, oftentimes what we want to do is we just want to kind of bypass everything. So we think that healing sometimes is just avoiding or going around those deep-rooted emotions. But we're now being called as a collective to really push through these things that have been preventing us from stepping into our true inherent power, right? Because most of us have been on the path of seeking that external power, which is very limited. So in the moment, you may feel very powerful when you take on that egoic path. But as we know with the ego, it is a very false construct. So when it comes to the ego, it's very easily triggered and very easily wounded. So when we step into our authentic nature, which is connecting our human body with our soul, right? So when we come into that connection, what happens is we step into authentic power. And this is something that I'm really trying to teach here on the channel because this is something that I truly believe in. I spent many years of my life really searching for that external power, right? And only to realize that external power was so fleeting. Maybe I'd have moments where I'd get a little high from something, but it was always taken from me. And those highs would then bring me down to a low. So when we step into the soul, there are no highs and lows. It is a neutral place. Love is just love. There's no duality, right? Because when we look at the soul, it is just purely love. When we're looking at the ego, we have a lot of fear and we have a lot of limitation. But in order for us to grow, in order for us to evolve, in order for us to really heal on a deeper level, we have to go through what it is that we have been trying to avoid. And oftentimes, taking the ego path is a distraction. Taking the ego path is a way of avoiding what we have to deal with internally and essentially the soul lessons that we came here to learn. So this is why people who often go through the same patterns over and over again in life, who don't consciously make a choice to change, will have sort of a crisis at some period in their life, where maybe they lose their relationship and they lose their home, or they lose their job, or maybe they lose all three at once. And this is your higher self's way of saying, okay, things need to change. We need to move out of this energy of external power, and we need to come into a place of inner power and inner wisdom, because once we come into that place of wholeness, this is when things are drawn to us. I talk about the course that I created, which is Become a Love Magnet. And it really is about becoming a magnet for the things that you desire in life, because we don't attract what we want in life. We attract what we are and who we are. So our only work is to deal with what's going on in here. We may think that there are problems out there, but those problems first started in here. And so it's about taking responsibility for how we show up in the world, taking responsibility for our own healing work, our shadow work, and really owning who we are as individuals. Because as we grow and evolve, we actually inspire all of the other souls who are here with us to evolve as well. And keep in mind that all of these beautiful souls that we surround ourselves with are all an aspect of ourselves as well. And this is something that we begin to learn when we come into resonance with who we truly are. And as we begin to do more of our internal work, our shadow work, our healing work, we realize that this whole time we were all one. Right? Maybe we spent a lot of years of our lives judging others, putting others in categories. Maybe we even did that to ourselves. But as we begin to evolve and as we begin to raise our level of consciousness and awareness, we realize that we are here and we are all experiencing the same thing. We are all learning how to move from fear into love. Right? And how can we experience more love in this physical experience? Because this 3D world is very fear-based. But as we begin to, expand the light of consciousness into this fear-based reality, we brighten up the worlds. And this is why we're here. Right? So don't be afraid when you make that conscious choice to grow or evolve as a person and things start to fall apart around you. This is all a part of the process. All right, so I truly hope that this video was helpful. If it was, be sure to give me a thumbs up, go down below, subscribe, hit the bell to get my notifications. And if you guys are ready to take that first step on your spiritual journeys, to step into your authentic power and to really own who you are as a person and understand what it really means to love yourself. I'm not talking about superficial self-love, I'm talking about that true wholeness and completion. Then I highly recommend the Become a Love Magnet online course, and the information for that will be down below in the description box. All right, but I'm sending you absolute love and light, and I'll see you guys very soon. Take care.